So approval process is also similar to workflow, but in workflow what we are doing, whenever criteria is met, we are performing some actions, right? Here in the approval process, similar we perform some actions, but here the main aim of the approval process is to send a record to for the approval. For example, if we submit any financial bills or something, that should go to financial manager approval, right? So in the organization, in any organization, approvals are must. Okay, so in the Salesforce CRM, these approval process help us to build the approvals, uh, route the approvals. Okay, so here also we set the evaluation criteria and rule criteria when that record should go to approval. We have to decide when a record should go to approval and what should happen, who are the approver of that particular record. Once he approve or reject that record, what should happen, what are the actions should happen. So everything is decided in the approval process steps. Okay, here we see the approval, what is approval process, capabilities of approval process, use case for approval process, and supported actions. Okay, supported actions for approval process are similar to the workflow actions. Okay, what are the workflow actions? What are the workflow actions? Sending an email, assigning a task, updating field, outbound messages. Those are nothing but the workflow actions, right? Whenever certain criteria is met, we can instantly send an email or we can instantly update a field. Okay, those are called actions. Okay, here in the approval process also we have the same actions. We can send an email, we can assign a task, we can update a field. Okay, the main feature is we can submit a record for approval. Okay, so like approval process specifies each step of approval, including who to request approval from and what to do at each point of process. Okay, at each point of process what to do. So in the approval request, here we can send an approval request through an email or through a charter. That means whenever we request for, whenever a record is submitted for approval, an email will be goes to the approver who is going to approve this particular record. He will be receiving an email notification saying that so and so record is submitted for your approval. Similarly, we can post a charter. Okay, we have charter, right? So we can post a charter to mentioning that particular person, approver, saying that please approve this record. Okay, next we have approval steps. Okay, here there are different steps in the approval process. Okay, the first thing is here first we need to define who should be the approver. In the approval step, first we need to decide who should be the approver for this particular record. Okay, the assigned approver is the user only, right? User in the organization. Okay, he will be the particular user will be the approver, but who is that particular user? We need to decide on that. Okay, next, delegated approver. For example, if this user is unavailable, he is on vacation or he is on sick leave, something. Okay, so who should approve that record? So for example, we submitted our bills. Okay, by end of the month we need to get the refund, but the approver, the manager who is the approver, that person is on leave. So someone on behalf of that manager, someone have to approve that record, right? So that person is called a delegated approver. Okay, the delegated approver is a user appointed by an assigned approver. An assigned approver. Assigned approver is a person whom we are going to decide, like who is the main approver. So on behalf of this person, delegated approver will approve in the absence of this assigned approver. Okay, next, email approval response. That means email approval response in the sense, for example, I submitted a record for approval. Okay, so to approve that, the user need to log into our Salesforce organization, and he will be receiving in the home itself, he will be receiving notification what are the records to be approved. Okay, here in this section, items to approve. So if a record is submitted for Neha, whenever Neha logs in on the home page, she can see the records that are to be approved in this items to approve section. Okay, for example, a record is submitted for me for the approval process, but I am out of station. I am unable to access this instance. I am unable to log into this organization. Okay, so in that case, we have an email notification, right? Whenever an approval is set, okay, and whenever a record is submitted for approval, we will receive an email, right? So in that email only, like you receive email to your company mail. Let's take for example of your Gmail. Okay, I submitted a record for the Sindhu approval. Okay, Sindhu will receive an email saying that so and so record is submitted for your approval. So for that email only, Sindhu can reply. Just by clicking the reply in the email, she can reply saying approve or reject. Approve or reject are the keywords. Okay, in the email only she can do that. So whenever she replies to that mail, here automatically in the system, that record will be approved or rejected. Okay, are you getting my point? Email approval response. Through email itself, you can
Yes.
approve instead of no need to log into organization and see here what are the records are there. Okay, instead of that, you can do the approval or rejection in the email response only. Okay, these are the three things. The next thing is initial submission actions. Initial submission action. That means you will submit a record for approval. Okay, just listen carefully. You will submit a record. Okay, a record in any object. You will submit a record for approval process. Whenever the record is submitted for approval process, initially, what are the actions to take place? Okay, that you can decide in the initial submission actions. Whenever a record is submitted, you can, like, initial submission actions occurs when a user first submits a record for approval. By default, the record is logged. The record will be logged. For I have a record here. This is a position record. In the position object, I have a record block box tester. This is my record. Okay, whenever I submit this record for approval process, this record will be logged. Logged. You will not be able to edit this. See, that means this is sent for the approval. Once you send for the approval process, you should not edit. That is not the best practice. That's why in the initial submission actions, it will be logged automatically, and along with that you can do any more actions. Okay, you can do actions like sending an email, updating a field, assigning a task, anything you can do. Next, final approval actions. Okay, so you can send approval for multiple persons. One record can be sent to approval for multiple persons. For example, first it will go to the hiring manager's manager. Here the owner will be the hiring manager. Let's say he is the hiring manager. Yeah, see, hiring manager is Ben. Okay, here we can, when the position is open, when the position status is new, we can send approval to this hiring manager's manager. Next, when the hiring manager is approve or reject, it will go to the approval of VP. Okay, like that we can send this particular one record to multiple approvers. So based on their response, this record will be approved or rejected. Okay. Next, final rejection actions. Similar. Final approval actions occur when all required approvals have been given for a record. Same. Final rejection actions. When all people are rejected in that from that approvers, what are the actions should perform? Like when the the record is in logged mode, right? Once it is submitted for approval in the initial submission actions, it is logged by default. So final rejection, when it is rejected, okay, when it is rejected or approved, it should be unlocked for editing, right? The record should be unlocked for editing. So similar, you can have recall actions. Like for example, you submitted a record for approval, but you think that you missed some information. So you can recall your approval. So it will come out from the approval process. Then record locking. Record locking is nothing but record locking prevent users from editing a record regardless of field level security or sharing settings. Okay, even though he has the access to that record using the sharing settings and field level security, this will the record will be locked and he will not be able to edit any field in that particular record. Okay, so these are the things happen in a approval process. Okay, first we need to decide on the approval. First we need to know the criteria, which records we need to send for the approval process. Who is the approver? Who is the delegated approver? Do we need email approval response or not? What are the initial submission actions? Next, final approval actions, final rejection actions. So these we can set in the approval process. Okay, so to go to the approval process, this is a navigation setup, create, workflow and approvals, approval process. Okay, so here I just have this for demo. A position record status is new. Whenever a position status is new, okay, these kind of positions I want to send it to the approval process. Okay, so here I just created 3 users: approver 1, approver 2, approver 3. Okay, this is the lookup to user. Here I can decide who are the approvers. Okay, approver 2 and approver 3. Okay, these are the users I need to select. So here first step 1, approval by manager of hiring manager. Okay, manager of hiring manager. Here the hiring managers the approval should go to the hiring manager's manager. So where we see the hiring manager's manager, go to this particular user, to the user detail page. Here you can see in the team who is his manager. You can see here. Team. Yeah, manager. Andrew is a manager of Ben Stewart. Okay, so here you can select the approver 1 or you can just set his managers to approve. Okay, I'll just select approver 1. I'll just select these 3 fields, 3 approvers. Okay, so here my requirement is whenever a position status is new, then first step is approval should go to the hiring manager's manager. Okay, hiring manager's manager. Second, in the second step, it should go to the senior level, only approved by VP of the hiring manager. Okay, so hiring manager's VP, it should go to the VP of the hiring manager. The third step, it should go to the recruiter. Okay, so here the recruiter name is Mario. It should go to the recruiter. So in the initial submission actions, okay, in the initial submission actions, record will be logged automatically. Okay, this record will be logged automatically. Next, the substatus of the position is changed to in progress. Here we have the substatus, right? So whenever this is submitted for the approval process. Then in the initial submission actions, the substatus field is updated. Here we are doing the field update action. Field update action. The substatus is changed to in progress. Okay, in progress. So the status will be changed to open, then the substatus will be changed to in progress, pending something. Okay, next, the date opened will be set to today. Date opened. Okay, date, where is the date open? Yeah, date open. This field will be updated with today. Okay, so that is in the final approval actions. The in the initial submission actions only we are going to do the two things. One is record will be logged. Second thing is the position substatus is changed to in progress. Okay, in the final approval action, that means whenever all these persons are approved, then owner owner of this position, right now the owner is Phil, so it will be changed to the recruiter queue. The owner will be changed to the recruiter queue. Okay, so from that recruiter queue, all the recruiters will be receiving this position. They will, any one of the recruiter will pick it from the queue and he will start working on this position. Okay, next, date, the date will be updated with today. Okay, date open will be updated with today. Next, substatus to approved. So here it is in the final approvals action, final approval action. So in the final approval actions, what we do is we change the status to approved. That means it is approved. When we say it come to the final approval actions, means these all people are approved that particular record. Okay, so then here the status will be changed to approved, closed, and approved. Open and approved. Status will be changed to open, substatus will be changed to approved. Yeah, status to open and substatus to approved. In the final rejection actions, okay, let's say any one of these person is rejected this position. Instead of approving, somebody is rejected this one. Then what happens is status is set to closed. The status of this position is set updated to closed and substatus is updated to not approved. Okay, so here what we are doing, we submitted this for approval of 3 persons. Okay, and along with that we are doing some field updates in the initial submission actions, in the final approval actions and final rejection actions. We are doing some actions, field update actions we are doing, and we also submitted this for the approval. Okay, is this clear or any doubts?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so now we'll set this approval process. Okay, Okay. Um, we'll go to setup first.
I'm not able to see your screen, Neha.
Oh, sorry. Can you see now?
Yes.
Sindhu, you?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. So from the setup, go to create, workflow and approvals, approval processes. Okay. Here you need to select the object, on which object you want to do your approval process. So right now I want to do the approval process on the position object. Okay. So here you can click create new approval process. There are two: Jumpstart wizard, standard setup wizard. Two things you have. Okay. Jumpstart wizard means you don't need to set up the initial submission actions, final approval actions, final rejection actions. Okay. It's just you need to set up who is the approver. Okay. It's a quick way to write a simple approval process. But for the complex approval process, we need to go to the standard setup wizard. Okay. I'll just go with the standard setup wizard. Okay. The process name, new position, new positions, approval. Next, here we need to select the criteria. What is our criteria? Position status is new. Okay. Just a second. Okay. What is our criteria? Our position status is new. Only that records should go to the approval process, right? Only the position object records whose status is new. Okay. So here in the criteria, I select position status equals to new. Okay. Next. So here see, next automated approver determined by. Okay. Who is the automated approver? It is asking the automated approver. Here we select the manager. Why we are selecting manager here is, this is nothing but the delegated approver. Okay. Use approver field of position owner. We can select this. So why we are selecting here is delegated approver. Who is the delegated approver? We thought in case of approver is absent, on behalf of that person, that approver's manager can approve these records. That's why we are selecting manager. Okay. Here, record editability properties. Okay. Once the record is submitted for the approval, okay, the user who submitted that record should not edit that record, right? Once he submitted, he should not edit that. So here we can select administrator only can edit the records during the approvers. So this is recommended. Only administrators can edit, not all the users. Okay. So here you have another option. Administrators are the currently assigned approver. Okay. Assigned approver also can edit the records during the approval process. Okay. Approver who is going to approve that particular record are only administrator. You have to decide this. Okay. I'm just selecting administrators only. Click next. Here the email template. So this email template is nothing but to send an email to the approver saying that so and so record is sent to you for your approval. Okay. Here we are going to send the email, right? That's why we need to select the email template. I'll just select some sample one. Better we create a new one quickly. Go to the communication templates, email templates, new template. Okay, this is our template. Click next. Then here we are going to select the fields to display on the approval page layout. Okay, whenever something is sent to the approval, they have to see, right? They have to know which record is sent to approval. Okay, so to see the records, they need to see the fields on that record, right? So what are the fields to be displayed on the approval page layout? For example, like this. This is an example. So here, submitted amount, owner, status, record, related opportunity, these are all the fields. Okay, he can see this information and he can approve or reject based on this. Okay, so here we want to see the information like job description, location, max pay and min pay, pay grade, type. So this will be visible to the approver. He can see this information based on this is the key information of the record. Okay, by seeing this key information, he will approve or reject that record. Okay, next, approval page fields display approval history information in addition to the field selected above. Okay, here it will show the approval history, whether it is approved or rejected. Here you can see this is the approval history, the third one. Okay, if it is approved, it will show like this, who is approved and what are the comments. If it is pending, it will show in the pending status. Okay, so to see this approval history, you need to select this checkbox. Then allow approver to access the approval page only from within the salesforce.com application. See, this is only from within the salesforce.com application. Otherwise, you can select allow approvers to access the approval page from within the Salesforce application or externally from a wireless enabled mobile device. This is to approve a particular record through the email response. Okay, email response. You want to make people to approve, then you can select this one. If you want people to approve from the mobile using just by replying to the email, okay, then you have to select this one. So if you want to people to approve within the Salesforce only, you have to select this one. So this is a security for the approval. Okay, click next. So see now, specify the initial submitters. Who is going to submit this record? Who is going to submit this record? Obviously the record owner. Okay, whoever created this record, he will be sending it to the approval process, right? He will be going to submit this record. So you can select the account position owner. Okay, otherwise you can select any other user or role, anyone. So but basically we select the position owner. Now see the submission settings. Allow submitters to recall the approval request. See, once he submit this record, whether he can recall this submit this one or he can whether he can recall or not. Okay, based on this checkbox you can set this. Okay, if you set this, he will get the option to this user position owner. He will get the access to recall the record from the approval process. So I'm just putting some recall for your knowledge. Then save. Now you did the basic setup. Now you have to decide like what are the steps for this approval process. First step, yes, I would like to create an approval step. Click go. What is the step? First, you need to send it for the manager approval, right? Hiring managers, manager approval. So here, step number is 1. So similarly, you can have many steps. Click next. So all records should enter this step. So here also you can set up criteria. Okay, here also you can set up criteria whether only some particular record should enter, like pay grade greater than 300, 400, only that particular record should enter this criteria, should go to that particular approver. So you can set the criteria at each step. You can set the criteria at the starting of the approval process, and for also each step you can define the approval process criteria. So here it should go, oh, all the records should enter this step. I don't want any criteria. Okay, click next. Next, see here, now you need to select the approver who is going to approve this record. Okay, so here I will select automatically assigned to approvers. So who will be the approvers? Here on the position I have three fields to user approver 1, 2, 3. So here the first approver will be, I'll select related user. Why I am selecting related user? Because the user, this is a lookup to user, so this is related to user. That's why I'm selecting related user. Okay, related to user object, this approver 1, 2, 3, related user, and selecting approver 1. So approver 1 will be approving in my first step. Okay, see here, when multiple approvers are selected, let's say there are multiple approvers, what should happen? Approve or reject based on the first response. Approve or reject based on the first response in the sense, for example, there are 3 approvers. Okay, the first approver is approved, then this approval will be, then this record will be approved automatically. Like if other 2 people also, if other 2 people rejected, that doesn't matter. Okay, based on the first response, for example, if the first person is rejected and the second 2-3 persons are approved, then it will not get approved, it will be rejected because the first response is rejected. Okay, so here the approve or reject based on the first response, or require unanimous approval from all selected approvers. Unanimous approvals from all selected approvers means all the approvers should approve this particular record, then only it will be approved. Okay, if someone approve and someone rejected, then this will be rejected. Okay, then
Okay.
yeah, any doubts here?
Yeah. No. I
Okay.
just said yeah.
Okay, approve or reject based on the first response, or you can select require unanimous approval. If there are multiple approvers, you can select require unanimous approval. And here the approvers delegate may also approve this request. Here also we will set, just checking the delegated users to approve this one. Okay, next, save. First approval step is Done. Next. Okay. Just click no, I will do this later. We'll see what we did now. So this is approval process setup now. Process name, entry criteria. Okay, all the records of the position object satisfying this criteria will be entering into this process. Okay, in the initial submission actions, by default the record will be locked. Once it is submitted to the approval process, the record will be locked. In the first approval step, what is happening in the first approval step? The hiring manager approval is needed. So who is the approver? Approver 1, related user approver 1 is the approver. Then I'll do the new approval step, the second step. Okay, the second step is VP approval needed. So when it should go to the VP, I'll set up some criteria. If a position pay grade, okay, if a position pay grade contains 300 or 400, so I want to send only some of the positions which are containing 300 and 400. Okay, those only go to the VP approval. So I'll just write pay grade contains, okay, only these type of records should go to the VP approval, otherwise it will skip the second step. Okay, next. And who should assign this? The second approver, who is our VP, related user approver 2. So here the approver 2 is our VP. Here we are going to select VP. Next, unanimous, require unanimous approval from all the selected approvals. Same, the approvers delegate. Next, what should happen if the approver rejects the request? So this is what we do, the rejection actions. Okay, perform all the rejection actions for this step and all final rejection actions. Just save this. Next. So what we done now? We just go and check the first step, second step. See here, is there anything saying that to go first? It will come here and it will check for the first criteria, like there is no first criteria. Okay, the hiring manager approval. Here, do we have any criteria? No, all records should enter this step. Okay, the second one, and go to the approver one. So whenever a record, a position record status is set to new, first it will go to the first in the initial submission actions, the record will be logged and it go to the approval step 1. Okay, in the approval step 1, this record will be assigned to the approver 1. Okay, and next here, if the position, any position which satisfies status equals to new and pay grade is 300 and 400, 300 or 400, then what happens is it will come to the VP approval. Okay, pay grade contains 300 or 400, then it will go to the approver 2. Okay, but here we are not saying anything like to go to the next step. Do we have anything like to instruct it to go to the next step? Okay, we don't have that, so we have to set that. Go to in the first step, you have to edit the first step. Go to the next step. You need to select the go to next step. You don't need to enter any criteria. Step criteria. You can step criteria like approver 1 not equals to null, yeah, and go to next step. See here, in the first position, approver 1 not equals to null. Okay, if this criteria satisfies, then it will perform the first step. Okay, otherwise else it will go to the next step. Are you getting? Are any doubts here?
Got it.
Is it confusing?
No. Maybe while doing it a little bit, but for now it's good.
Okay. Otherwise, we'll edit this
Is
one. Hello?
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The first step, uh, will will remove the criteria from the first step. All records should go to this step. Stay. Okay. Criteria. Okay. The first step, we don't have any criteria set. We just assigning to the approver one. Okay. In the second step, what we are doing, if the position pay grade is contains 300 or 400, we are assigning to the third person. So the next third step, we need to assign it to the recruiter. So here also all records should enter this step. Click next. Select the related user and select the approver 3. So he is the recruiter. And select this one. Select the required unanimous approval. Save. See here the first it is coming to the first step. Okay, and assigning to the approver one if the position status is new. If the position status is new and position pay grade contains 300 or 400, okay, then it will come to the VP automatically. Okay, if this both criteria is satisfied, then it will come to here. And so now it doesn't know how to go to the recruiter because it will come here and it will stop here. We need to, after this criteria, we need to set it to go to the next step. So edit this one. Go to next step. Okay. If the criteria is met, perform this action. If the criteria is not met, in the else option, go to the next step. Okay. So if the position pay grade contains 300 or 400 and position status is new, then it will come to the this step. Otherwise, it will directly come to the recruiter approval. It will be assigned to the approver 3. Okay. Now we define the steps. So what are the final approval and final rejection actions? Final approval action. In the final approval action, we need to assign this record to recruiter queue. Okay. So here we need to create a new field update. Field update to update the owner field of the position. To update the owner field of the position and approve it and assign it to the recruiter queue. So we already have the queue. So I'm just creating the field update. I think I already, okay, I'll create again. Field to update. Which field we need to update? Owner. We need to update owner to a queue. So here select the queue, recruiter queue. Okay, notify assignee means the queue will be receiving an email. Just save. Next. Next what should happen? We need to set the open date to today. Okay, the open date should be the, it is open today, right? So we need to set this date, date opened, field update, field to update, date opened. Use a formula. How to set this value, date, time? We can use a formula. So here date opened is a date time. Okay, here we have the functions. In the formula we have the functions today. Today is a current date, but here the field data type is date time. So to support the date time, we have another function called now. Now is a date time, right? So it matches our data type. So put the now here, save. So we are going to update this date opened with now date. Now date means the current date. Next, what we need to do in the final approval actions, we need to set the status. Status to closed and open, and substatus to approved. Okay, status to open and substatus to approved. So here create field update again. So what is the field we need to update? Status. Status, it's a pick list, right? Status is a pick list. So what is the value we need to set? A specific value. What is the specific value? Field to update not status. What is the specific value we need to set? Open, right? Status should be open. Save. Next, we need to set the substatus. Substatus to approval, approved. Okay. When the status is set to open, then we need to set the substatus to approved. This is a one more field update again. Go and add new field update. Field to update. Substatus. What is the values in the substatus? We should have approved. Okay. So a specific value. Approved. Save. So here we are done with the final approval actions. Now we need to do the final rejection actions. What should be the final rejection action? The record is unlocked. Okay. When it is rejected, it should be unlocked for editing, right? If it is rejected means there is some wrong in that record. So if the record is unlocked, then only the user can edit that record and correct that record. So that's why we make it as unlock the record for editing. This is by default. Next, what is the action we need to do? We need to update the status and substatus if it is rejected. First I'll set the status. Field to update status. What is the specific value? Closed. Okay. If it is rejected, then the status should be closed. And its substatus should be rejected. Okay. Not approved. Substatus. What is the specific value? Not approved. So here we are all set. The first record entry criteria and the approvers. Okay. Next, the approval actions, rejection actions, and recall actions. So in the recall actions, when he recalled the record back, that should be able for editing. So that's why here we are unlocking the record for editing in the recall actions. So once after you are done with your approval process, you can see the diagram, how it goes. See here it is starting. Entry criteria, yes. Okay. Initial submission actions, what happened in the initial submission action? The record is locked. What happening in the step 1? In the step 1, the let's say the hiring manager is approved. Then it will go to the step 2. In the step 2, if the VP is approved, then it go to the step 3. Okay. If VP is, let's say if this VP is rejected or hiring manager is rejected, then directly it is going to the final rejection actions. What happening in the final rejection actions? Field update, status field we are updating, substatus field we are updating, record unlocking in the final rejection actions. Let's say the hiring manager is approved, yes. The VP is approved, yes. And the recruiter is approved, yes. Then what happening? It's going to the final approval actions. What happening in the final approval actions? Okay, in the final approval actions, it is assigning to the recruiter queue. The record is assigning to the recruiter queue, and the field is date open field is updating with now, and status is updating with open, substatus is updating with approved. The record is still locked in the after approval also. Okay, is this clear? The rejected, if any one person is rejecting this, okay, then directly it's going to final rejection actions.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, you can clearly see the diagram here, the approval process diagram. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you need to activate this position, so approval process, position approval process. Just click activate. Okay. Did we miss anything? Yeah. Okay. Now I'll go to the position object.
How long is this session for?
I wanted to cover one more topic also, reports, after this.
Okay.
You have any work?
No, I mean, just I need to give an update, like what time, so.
Okay. After now we are completed with the approval process. We'll see one little demo, and after that we'll take 10 minutes break. Then we'll start with the reports and dashboards. Is that okay for you, Pranita? Like if we go till 6 o'clock, now it is 5.
Okay, 1 more hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even or 5:30. Is that okay? Don't hesitate. Pranita, is that okay for you?
Yeah.
Till 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Sindhu. For you, no problem, no?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Okay. Now, this is a position record collection analyst, and the status is new. So now it should go to the approval process, right? How it go to the approval process? The owner should submit this for the approval. Okay, the owner should have to submit it to the approval. I'll execute. Okay, so here it should be in the new. Someone has to submit this record for the approval process. Then only it will go to the approval process, right? So here the person who created this, he submit it for the approval. How to submit it for the approval process? Here just scroll down. You will see approval history. Okay, in this related list, you have a button called submit for approval. Okay, you can click this submit for approval. Okay, this approval request requires the next approver to be determined by the approver one field. Okay, the value is empty. So here in this record, we did not set up the approver 1, approver 2 and approver 3. So here we need to set up the values approver 1. Who is that approver 1? Hiring
Hi.
manager's manager. Okay. I'll go to this particular hiring manager pen and who is his manager? Andrew. Okay. Here approver 1 I'll select Andrew. Next approver 2. Who should be the approver 2 in our as per our step? VP. Okay. VP Megan Smith, VP Human Resources will be the approving this. So I'll select this Megan Smith. Next, as per our approval process, who should be the approver 3? Recruiter. We are sending the approval step 3 to the recruiter, right? Recruiter
Yes.
approval. So here we need to select the approval recruiter. So who is the recruiter? We have Mario. Save. So now we are all set with the approvers. Now go and click submit for approval. So now scroll down and see the history. This is sent for the approval and it is pending for Andrew Goldberg. He is should who submitted this? Neha submitted this. Actually, who submits this? The owner of the record. He submits this. But as administrator, now I did this. I submitted. Okay. So now when Andrew logs in, okay, he will be seeing this record for his approval. Okay. I'll log in as Andrew. Click login. So on my home page, in the items to approve, he can see this, right? Junior software engineer record is submitted for his approval, right? This is the record. Junior software engineer position is submitted for his approval. Okay. What he will do? He will check this. He will click on approve or reject. Okay. So why it is saying insufficient privileges for him? Maybe he doesn't have access on the position object. Okay. This is a position, right? So we need to check that. And you have custom recruiter profile in his feed, create, edit. He have the access and position. You all and modify all. Okay. So now when I log in as this Andrew again, he'll be able to see this position. Yeah. Now he got the access to. So these are the key fields we selected, right? While creating the approval process, minimum pay, maximum pay, pay grade, type, comments. We have selected this, right? So you can not comments, type, pay grade, minimum pay, max pay, location, job owner, job description owner. Did you remember? We selected that fields
Yeah.
while setting up the approval process. So he can write.
Yes.
You can click approve. Now I'll log out as Andrew and go to the position record. I'll just see here now. It is approved, right? It is approved and it is showing the comments. Whatever Andrew wrote. Andrew is approved this one. Now it is still pending for the approver to Megan Smith. Okay. Why it redirected to Megan Smith? As per our criteria, because its pay grade is 300. We set the criteria. If pay grade contains 300 or 400, we need VP, this person's approval, the second person approval. If it does not contain 300 or 400, it might have not gone to this particular person, Megan Smith, the second approver. Directly it go to the Mario. Okay. So now Megan will log in. Okay. She will be seeing the approval again here. Yeah. She will approve. Log out of Megan. Next go to our position. Refresh. See here the approval history. Megan is approved. Now it went to the approval of Mario. Okay, this record, see, the record is locked. Can you see this lock? The record is locked because it is in approval process. Okay, why I am getting unlock record button is I am an administrator. If I am not administrator, a general user, I will not get this unlock record button. Okay, right? So you're seeing the lock. Lock means the record is locked. The record is locked. If you see this lock icon, that means this record is in the approval process. Okay. And here see, you have an option to recall. Yeah. Recall approval request. This button. Why we got this button? Because we set up while creating the approval process, we set this recall option. So if we did not set that option, we don't see this button, recall approval request button. Okay. Next, Mario logs in. Now he's also approved this one. Log out. Go to your position. Now see, it is completely approved. Did you see any pending? No, it is completely approved. See the actions performed. The status is set to open and the substatus is automatically changed to approved, and date open is updated with the current date. Okay, the final approval actions. These are the final approval actions, right? And the owner is changed to recruiter queue. What is our final approval actions? The owner should be changed to the recruiter queue, and the status should be set to the open, and the substatus should be approved, right? And date open should be the now. So these are all the
Yeah.
actions performed once it is completely approved. Okay, is this clear? The approval
Yes.
process. Okay, I'll go to another position. I'll change its pay grade to 100. Okay, so when we change the pay grade to 100, it should skip this second step, right? The VP
Mm.
approval is not needed for this. Only two steps should be performed. Okay, so
No.
save, and status should be new. Then only it will go to the approval process. So I'm just changing. So here only two approvals are needed. One from the hiring manager's manager and another from recruiter. Here we no need of VP approval because the pay grade is low. Pay grade is 100. Okay, I'll just submit this again for the approval process. Okay, approver one fields. Submit for the approval. See here, now it is submitted for the approval. Approval from the NDO is pending. So as a system administrator, I can approve or reject. So instead of logging into Andrew, I'll just approve here itself because system administrator, I can do that. So here you can see approved. Okay, the actual approver, it is assigned to Andrew, but who is approved this? Neha, you can see. Neha has approved this. Okay, now it see here, now it directly sent to the Mario. Did it send to Megan Smith, the VP?
No.
No,
No.
because here it does not satisfy the criteria. The pay grade of the position is 100, but here we said 300 or 400 only should go to the VP. That's why it skipped the VP one. Only two steps are there now. So here the Andrew is approved. Okay, next Mario. If Mario reject. So what happened? The complete approval process. See here the final rejection actions have happened. The status is set to closed and substatus is set to not approved. These are the final rejection actions, right? Status
Yeah.
is set to closed and substatus is set to not approved. And the record is unlocked. Did we see any lock button?
Yes.
Unlocked because it's a finally rejected, right? So once the rejection is happened, the actions happen automatically. It is unlocked. I'll go to another position. Okay, my status is new now. Okay, I don't have any substatus. I'll remove this date open also. Okay, so my status is new. Now I need to approver one. See here, when I submit this for the approval, what happened? It will be sent to the first Andrew. Then it will go to Megan. Why? Because it's 400. Okay, the next it will go to Mario. If because we need a unanimous approval. We need a unanimous approval. That means these three people should approve. Then only it will be approved. If any one of these particular person is rejected, then this complete record will be rejected. Okay. So first I'll log in as Andrew. Okay. Oh, we did not submitted it for the approval process. Log out. Submit for approval. Now this senior SQA engineer is sent for the approval. Okay. When it's sent for the approval, we got a recall approval request button. Okay. And the record is locked. You can see the lock here. Okay. And the status is new. Nothing is changed here. Okay. These updates will be done only after complete approval or rejection. Now it's still in the pending. So I'll just log in as Andrew. Reject. Log out. Go to the position and refresh. See here. It is rejected. It is completely rejected. So because we need a unanimous approval, once it is rejected from the first person, it will not go further.
Yeah.
Okay, if it is approved from the first person, it will go further. So if it is rejected, it will stop there only because we need a unanimous approval. Okay, and the rejection actions are performed here now. See, earlier it was locked. Now the lock has gone, and see the status is closed and the substatus is set to not approved. The final rejection actions are performed. These actions are performed. If it might have approved, then these actions might have performed. If it is, it might have assigned to queue, status might be set to open, date open might be filled, substatus might be set to approved. But it is rejected. So rejection actions are performed, and in the rejection actions, what we are doing, we are unlocking the record for editing. We unlock the record. Okay. Is this clear, the approval process?
Yeah, it is.
Again, you can correct any information, like anything if it is wrong. Again, you can send it for the approval process. Just click submit for approval again. It go to the okay. Why it is not meet the criteria means the status is closed. If the status is open and send it for the approval again. Now it again submitted for the approval pending with Andrew, and the record is locked. Okay, the same thing happens again. So for example, I send it approval by mistake, so I can recall my request. So now see, this is unlocked, right? Record is locked, right? When I recall my request using the recall approval request, recall approval request. Now see, the record is unlocked. We don't have any lock button here. And see here, recalled. That is, this is not in the approval process now. Okay, similarly, you can send it for the approval again. Okay, is this clear approval process?